Our first question, I actually like. It's a short question, and it's from Leroy. And Leroy says, what is your best advice for someone looking to press the beast? For those of you who have no idea what the beast is the 48 kilo kettlebell. The first time I ever saw one was in San Diego at an RKC, and I didn't realize that this would become famous, but I walked over it, cleaned it, and pressed it the first time I touched it. Now, yeah, aren't I wonderful? Part of the reason I wanted to start that off, Leroy, and all my gentle listeners, is that I have a big background in lifting. I've been lifting since 1965. I don't think I've missed lifting 3 days a week since 1965. Oh, a few weeks here, a few weeks there because of surgeries or travel, but I like to lift weights, and I do it. Because I've spent so many years with the barbell, I've snatched 142.5 kilos, which is 314 pounds. I've cleaned 182.5, which is 402. Look, I can't reach back to pat myself on the back. But the first thing I want to get clear, Leroy, is that I came into the kettlebell world with a big background in weightlifting. And the number one thing I pick up when I work with people who are moving into kettlebells, especially in the early times of kettlebells, for a lot of the guys I worked with at these kettlebell certifications, the only lifting they had ever done in their life was kettlebells. So for some of them, they had this idea that the 24 kilo bell, the 53, was heavy because it's the most they'd ever lifted. But if you have a standard barbell, you start off at 20 kilos, 44, 45 pounds, and that's what you lift. So even to get your first workout in, you're practically up to 65, 85 pounds, 30, 40 kilos in no time. So now it is obviously, it's also two hands. I understand that. But for a lot of us who came in from the barbell world, we were just used to bigger numbers. So that is the introduction to the answer. For those of you who found the beast easy to press the first time, there's probably a really good chance you had a pretty good sized background. I'm glad you asked the question here. At the San Jose RKC a few years ago, with a master present, another senior, Ben Fogel and I were just talking about this months ago. But I picked up the 48 and I pressed it, the beast, 13 times with my right hand. I'm not sure why I did it. I know why I did. I was trying to prove a point. But so the beast for me has never been a challenge. And again, we're still in the introduction here, because if you have a big background in lifting, the beast isn't going to be that hard to tame. Okay. That's where we begin. Now, if this is your goal, I put together a couple ideas for you first. First off, and this is important, point number one, is that this is a kettlebell challenge. And I think you should do it with a 48 kilo kettlebell. I mean, this is so obvious to say out loud, but I think it's important to realize this is a kettlebell challenge and a kettlebell lift. I think your chest should start here. You should have that slight J press that we have in the kettlebell world. And I think it should go pretty much vertical the whole time. Your forearm should remain perpendicular to the floor the whole time. Your glute should be tight. Your quad should be tight. You should have a great foundation. And if you are going to lean away, it's reasonable. I'm a big believer in chin, sternum, and zipper. But in this case, I would say try to keep your nose, your chin, even a broken nose like I have, your nose, chin, and sternum somewhat stacked on each other. Don't completely lean off away. The next thing is, it really does help to come in with a big barbell press. For those of you who can bench press 100 kilos, that is basically, it's twice as much as the 48. If you can military 100 kilos, then I think you should be able to press the 48. But having a barbell background with those heavier lifts will help with the biggest issue most people have when they do the beast press, is when you clean that bell for the first time, if you haven't got a big background in lifting, 48 kilos feels heavy. Now, if you deadlifted 300 kilos, Cleaning 48 still might feel heavy, but your brain will instantly say, yeah, it's not that heavy, okay? The second thing I want to think about is don't try to have a formula on this. In other words, throw out percents, throw out all that other stuff. Don't make up some fancy formula, because if you're going to press the beast, it's going to be pressing 48 kilos. I know that's obvious, but you can't, and in my new, in the armor building formula, the new one that's coming out, I have all these projected maxes that I like to include because people ask the question all the time. But I'm not a fan of projected maxes when it comes to something specific like this. In other words, don't press the 32, I don't know, for 28 reps and say that's the same as pressing that beast. Though if you can press that for 28 reps, you're a pretty place. I recommend 4 workouts a week for people who are trying to do this. The first one, and how you work on what days, I'm just going to give you the order I would usually do this. But if you have to change your schedule, you're going to have a high volume day, and you're going to have one high intensity day, one practice day, and then one doubles day. How that works is up to you. But, and I have some notes I'm looking at down here. On the volume day, I still think you do a set of 2 reps with the load. You put the weight down. I can't believe I have to tell people to put the weight down, but some kettlebellers don't know when you're doing volume, it's okay to put the weight down occasionally. How do you do high rep swings without putting the weight down? Okay, I'll stop. So you'll do 1, 2, put the weight down, and then you'll do a set of 3, put the weight down, do a set of 5, put the weight down, do a set of 10. And I like doing that for a total of 5 rounds. Now, if you're going left hand, right hand, which I think is a good idea to keep that symmetry, it's going to take you a while to get those 100 reps because it's a total of 200. But you would go 1, 2, switch, 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 10, 10. Longer rest, shake it out, and then come back. You could certainly, over a 6-week period, start off, week 1, you do a set of 3, maybe week 2, a set of, so 3 rounds of that, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. The second week, 4 rounds of that. Drop back week 3 to do 3 rounds. And then from there, see if you can hit that 5 rounds, or just stick with 4 rounds again and nudge up your volume week by week up to the total 100 reps. It is a long workout. It'll take a while. Though I'll tell you this, if you were to do that high volume 100 reps left, 100 reps right, I think you would look good in the mirror. I have spent way too much time in the weight room, and I got to tell you, single arm overhead presses do wonders for how you look on the beach and in a tuxedo. The next day would be the heavy day. Now, you're going to have to work 2 ways on this. One, I like the idea of you kind of getting in the gym on the second day workout and just test yourself up. If right now you're pressing the 36, so maybe a couple of singles, in a perfect world, 16, 24, 28, 32, and then you try the 36. After you kind of get a sense of where you are, pick a load. Now, if the 36 shot up, but you can't do the 40, stick with the 36. And what I want you to do is add a little legs so it pops up, and then come down slowly. You're going to pull the weight down, make sure that shoulder's protected, and then squeeze it in here. Add the legs, pop it up, pull it down. 1, 2, or 3 reps in the push press are all you're going to need. And I'd like you still to do both sides on that. And the reason I don't want you to go high rep, I want you to focus more on that slow down concentric. I want you to focus more on that slow. And what you might find on a day is that all of a sudden you're going to find that, oh, right here is where I'm weak. And if you, as you find that weak spot, that dead spot, try to really slow down even more in there. And over time, you'll kind of get some mastery on what to do. The third day is a relatively light day. What I want you to do on this day I use those big Dynamax bands. You can hook them to a post. You can hook them to a squat rack. I can hook them to a couple kettlebells, I imagine, if they're heavy enough. And what I'm going to do on the presses that day, I'm going to take that band in my offhand, and as I'm doing some light presses, I'm going to play around with different locations on the light band. What I'm trying to teach myself, it's called irradiation forever, but we don't hear the word as much as we did, say, 23, 24 years ago. But what I want you to do, maybe on one light press, and if you're pressing the 36, you could just use the 20 or even the 16 on this. It's just a drill. So you do a rep here, and then maybe you pull it all the way into the chest and do a rep, and then maybe you slide it straight down, into a suitcase carry position and do a rep. 2, 3, 4, 5 reps of holding the fighting that Dynamax band opposite you. The green and the blues would be pretty hard to do. I got to be careful with the colors because I might be using older colors, but there's one right underneath it. It's in my gym is kind of purplish, though I could be wrong. My sense of color isn't very good. Sometimes I'll look at purple and someone will say that's actually violet, and I'm like, I can't even tell the difference. But doing this on both sides, you could probably do it if you're doing, just a couple of reps. This is a practice day where you're actually teaching the offside of the body to learn how to do the work. When you get to the beast, you're going to have to lift with your whole body. Both legs, your whole torso, and your offside have all got to be ready to go. The fourth workout of the week would be the doubles day. And I would recommend, at least for most people I work with, is what I call the touchdown press. That's when you start with both kettlebells over your head. You bring one down, you press it back up. You bring the other down, and you press it back up. What you'll notice when you're doing this fourth day, the touchdown press day, this is the day where everything starts to link together. The other 3 days, there's volume. The intensity is because you're holding the weights overhead, and you're also teaching the offside lift. I wouldn't imagine doing more than 12 to 20 total reps is what you need. So, that could be 5 sets of 4, but you got to remember, this is a set. This is a single. 1, 1. So that's 1, 2, 2. So it does take a while on touchdown presses to get a set of 4. A set of 5 takes a long time. You'll probably find somewhere around 3s to be best. So, you're looking at 4 to 6 sets of 3 or something like that, maybe a little bit more, and then that's it. I would say after about 6 weeks of doing this, 4 days a week, I would skip maybe Monday. I would skip the volume day, the push press day, and the offside day. Shake your arms off each day, do whatever else you want. And then on that fourth workout, I'd like you to take a run again, if you have enough kettlebells, and just test your max again. Start off whatever you think is appropriate. You can go 12, 16, 20 if you need all the warm-ups, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, and then you get to 44. Now you were doing 36, so if you get the 40, good for you, stay on the program. If you get the 44, yay for you, you're doing great. And then try the 48. Just get a sense of, if you make it, hey, we're donezo. Leroy, you finished it. We're good. If you miss it, go back and repeat the program because you're doing the right thing. How long does it take to press the beast? Either the first time you ever see it, or, it. From the feedback I've got from the RKC2 on both the men and the women's side, somewhere around 3 to 6 months is what's needed if you're going from, really a beginner to a little bit more established. It takes up to 3 to 6 months to get enough practice in that you can crush the beast under pressure at a certification. I hope that helps. I think it's a good goal. Of all the things I read sometimes, this is a good and solid goal. So I like it a lot, my friend. Okay, thank you, Leroy. I hope that helped. If anyone has the urge to type up that whole thing I just said and put it in the show notes, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Great.